I was once criticized by the headmistress of our school for using informal English in a grade 9 English literature class she observed. As a native English speaker, the headmistress reasoned that our school of English language learners would not develop adequate vocabulary if their teachers used colloquial language. The headmistress stressed the use of what she referred to as high diction and formal communication as the best approach for language learning. This interaction with the headmistress has bothered me for the past 2 years. I come from a community that does not use highly formalized standard English. Although I have developed the capacity for using standard English in settings where it is appropriate, I would feel ridiculous using this communication style with my grandmother or my friends. Using academic standard English would increase the potential for misunderstood meaning and potentially lead the people I love to perceive me as being arrogant and condescending. Furthermore, my students are teenagers with whom I feel it essential to build trusting relationships as a cornerstone for maximizing their learning, and I strongly believe that authenticity in communication is an important aspect of being trustworthy. I teach my students about audience and purpose, and we read a variety of texts, some formal, others informal, and find value in all of these approaches to communication. Until challenged by the headmistress, I felt such a variety was unquestionably appropriate. I have always had ELL students in my classes, a trend that has increased 100-fold since I became an international teacher. I have developed a reluctant understanding of my students and their families' desire to gain English proficiency in connection with future economic opportunities, though I have always felt uncomfortable with the supremacy of English as the greatest means of advancement and resource allocation, as this concept is rooted in a history of socio-political oppression. Recently, I have been introduced to the idea of world Englishes, or seeing value in global varieties of English in their distinctive cultural and socio-linguistic contexts, which provides a contrast to the persistence of standard English in academics. I have reflected that those who insist that English is superior are, in effect, implying that other literacies within the language are inferior and wrong. In her work with linguistics and social justice, Dr. Jamila Liascott explains that even within English there is a system of oppression that perpetuates racism and classism by disenfranchising certain kinds of English as a way of maintaining the oppression of those who spoke those types of English. I feel that this system thrives in educational institutions, but that we have an opportunity as ELL teachers to begin the work of dismantling this aspect of oppression, given that we are in a position to diversify our language instruction for audience and purpose. Students should be shown how attitudes toward language influence people's perceptions about other people's social identities, social status, and intellectual abilities, rendering language acquisition an important aspect of establishing and maintaining ideas about groups of people that impact their lives. Sociolinguist Donna Christian notes that the ideal of linguistic democracy, in which the speech of every citizen is regarded with equal respect by all others, is perhaps the most unrealistic of all social ideals. Speech is one of the most effective instruments in existence for maintaining a given social order. With the impact of language in mind, I think we, as an English department, can take steps to increase our cultural responsiveness by becoming more deliberately inclusive in terms of the styles of English we provide our language learners. I propose that if standard English remains a school-wide requirement, we should approach it so that students understand the value and purpose of learning it in terms that are meaningful to them, as well as learning other English dialects that help them see all speakers as intellectually capable, valuable members of diverse social groups. Given that there are regional and culture-specific forms of English, I imagine the same is true for many other languages, including Turkish. It just might be that a more culturally responsive approach to learning their second language may support our students in their own perception of oppressive linguistic constructs within their own culture, empowering them to challenge those views. As Cheka observes, the speech of children and adolescents resembles that of the people with whom they identify, reinforcing the idea that the English our students are learning should be diverse, allowing for them to identify with a variety of people from multiple social groups.